Cuisine is only three things for me: techniques, product, and emotion. I'm Hoon Degeimbre. I'm chef and owner of the restaurant L'Air du Temps, seated in 50 kilometers from Brussels in the countryside. My first inspiration to create dishes was wine, because I used to be sommelier before to open my restaurant. It was my first techniques. In terms of product, I searched around in the surrounding farm, in this beautiful place in Hesbe, to find the basis of my creation. I think you can't speak about product without experience to grow by yourself. We searched around, we started to learn step by step like a chemist. Try, fail again. I think some of my first guests remember, or not. They're not dead anymore. You know, we miss something in this area. We miss to have a garden. We miss to have a nice vegetables. And when we started, I never imagined what will be the impact of the garden in my philosophy. The most important is to be open-minded and to be aware, push boundary. I have to call my cuisine style like a terroir contemporain, contemporary terroir. We have to take care of tradition, we have to take care of producer and local provider all around, but we focus on your roots. My roots are in Belgium and in Korea too. Terroir contemporain means tradition, but there is no tradition without modernity. And that's why I focus on technology, modernity, taking care of what is the best now, and taking care of some comfort zone like tradition. We have many 4 N's in the restaurant. It means,
do you hear me?
It means we create some dinner with international chefs from some friends from everywhere in the world. And we are focused on the garden to create a nice dinner for our guests. Our guest is only 40 covers in the dining room. But cuisine is like a party. We invite them to take aperitif, to take a drink, to make party with us after in the kitchen. You have to be open-minded, still focus on your own style, but taking care of what is spent in the world. I have to explain you different steps before to have my own style. You know, I'm really passionate by science, and this kiwi oyster is it's a kind of signature dish. I'm focused on aromas because I used to be sommelier. I think my best tool is my nose. And I started to combine different food depending on the major aromatic flavor in common. Kiwi and oyster has more than 14 common flavor. Unbelievable. It looked nice, but it's better when you taste it. You have to, maybe one day. You know, kiwi oyster, so only 2 ingredients, but I have to speak about my emotion. My emotion means I just wanted to give you a new combination, new taste, new experience. It's the same for this lobster. You know, step by step, after 15 years of experience in the garden, my garden is my first inspiration. And there is a lot of problem in the garden. Water is the main problem. Sometimes in excess, we are in Belgium, and sometimes we don't have enough. And how can I cook my stuff, my vegetables, my lobster, this fabulous lobster coming from Belgium? How can I cook them without water? I use the steam of vegetables that I didn't use because it's not pretty. I used the steam of vegetables to cook my potatoes, my lobster, and my carrots. Have you already seen to have in a recipe ugly leaves? We only take the best. But the best for me is not the same meaning than yours. For me, the best is a question of taste. And that's why I use ugly leaves to cook carrots without water. Water, once again, I create to avoid trashes in my garden. I create this kind of water. And I use, as a technique, ultrasound machine to extract the flavor of all the components. And my emotion in this, I just wanted to give one more experience for my guests. Pairing with wine, I think every restaurant can do this. But pairing with water is pretty new. And you have an experience, unbelievable experience. And you have to taste it again. I love to have guests in my house, in my restaurant, but I love to see them back. Avoid alcohol sometimes. It's nice for security. It's the same for my garden. I have some Korean roots, and it's usual in Korea to ferment food, ferment vegetables, to preserve them for winter time. During the summertime, we have too much vegetables, and we try to avoid trashes. And that's why we started to ferment. And beginning of the winter, we have more than 1 ton of vegetables laying in the cellar, waiting for feeding people. I think it's the right words for sustainability. This dish is really important for me. I'm politically engaged. I just want to fight against excess tuna fishing. Imagine this dish. The main component is beetroot. It's coming from my garden. And when you see it, it looks like tuna flesh. I use this to replace tuna. I use some Korean ingredients, like fishes, anchovy, some shell. It's like a nice life in the blue sea. This blue sea is made with cabbage and dashi of anchovy. Imagine this perfect life, laying on the sea, quiet. But you imagine the aggressivity, the acidity of men who put some drop of fear in this blue sea. Each time you dip your spoon in this dish, it turns like the blood of tuna in excess fishing. It's a nice message, but it's eatable too. The last thing really important for me is I never learned to manage a team. I never learned to cook. I never learned to taste wine. I became one of the best sommeliers in Belgium. I have 2 Michelin-starred. And how can I manage my team? Everybody's seen Hell's Kitchen. Do you know it's the reality? Maybe it was tradition, it was reality, but now it changed a lot. You know, manage a team, I have the sample from my garden. I do some permaculture, and now I want to make permanagement. Manage my team as different plants you have in your garden. Garden have this richness. Imagine now I have 45 people in 3 different restaurants, and this is my way to manage them. Taking care of each plant, each human. Because they have to take care of the other plants just behind, just aside. You have to taking care of this. They look a little bit happy, no? I think. And you know, I have to take the last sample. I imagine a R&D chef, a R&D department in my restaurant. Imagine I try to make it in a classical way, the R&D chef try in the kitchen, but I was not convinced by the way to to approach this. And that's why I imagine what is the best sample of R&D chef in my garden. And the best R&D chefs are the bees. Imagine the bees go from flower to flower and let a trace of each flower in each of them. And the trace become a fruit. It's the same. The R&D chef go the position from position to position, ask advice of each of them. What you imagine it happened inside of each of them. It grew a fruit of importance. It's just a small sample, but we have to have, and we need this big reflection around this. You know, for me, emotion means human. It will be the next trend. And cooking, la cuisine is not only cooking. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you want to speak more about this, I have many hours to explain if you want. Thank you very much.